Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kegel Show. My name is Don Agent, and our guest today is Ben Rettig. Ben, thank you for coming out and spending time with us this afternoon. Want to give a shout out, first of all, to our friends at Tech Sweden, Nicholas and Juke. They were just down for some training last week. Know you guys made it back safe. Hopefully you had some wonderful holidays with your families. Can't wait to see you again really soon. Ben, you're down here in a little bit of warmer weather, okay, obviously. You and your daughter Emily are down here for one of the Kegel holiday camps, which we've got, what, about 25 kids? We got multiple states. What different states you think we got here so far that you've ran into?
I've run into some folks from Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Florida, and we're from Georgia, so outside the Atlanta suburbs.
Fantastic.
So those are ones I've met so far, but I'm sure there's many others. So.
And you've been to these camps in the past?
Yep, this is our second winter camp. Last year Kyle Troop was here, and it was really neat.
Great young man he is. Really full energy. I knew his father, back out from the tour days. When we used to do regionals back in that time. I guess we run about 7 to 10 of these camps here a year. You mentioned you're from Atlanta. Your daughter's down here training. How old is Emily?
Emily's 17.
17.
Yep.
How long has she been bowling competitively?
Competitively, about 4 years now.
Excellent. And how long has she been coming here, you think?
Just about that whole time.
Really?
When we were on our 12th vacation, so 2012, when she was 12, in the backseat of the car, she says, "Are there college scholarships for bowling?" I had no clue. So we got to our destination, we looked it up, and sure enough there was. And then she said, my goal is to get a college scholarship to help pay for bowling.
That is awesome. I got chills on that. Hopefully one day soon the men will have that opportunity for full rides too, but the women being NCAAs outstanding.
So she got bowling and academic scholarships. So.
What college is she going to?
Louisiana Tech.
Outstanding. Very cool. You must be a proud father.
Absolutely.
I'm sure her mother's equally as proud.
Yes, she is.
How did she get interested in it? Was it something, did you guys bowl together with her? Was it just her and some friends got together, casual, or?
It's one of those things where I grew up bowling. I'm from Iowa originally, and so I grew up in youth leagues and bowling in high school, whatever little bit that we had, but I grew up around it. And then actually, I worked at AMF in 2005 when we lived outside Richmond, Virginia, at their corporate headquarters in Mechanicsville.
Yeah.
And so she had her 5th birthday party. It was a bowling party, glow-in-the-dark thing, and she kind of was around it, but never really bowled much. And then when we moved from Richmond to Georgia, she actually, how it happened was my boss said, "Hey, we're getting together for some beers. You want to come bowl on whatever Friday night?"
Sure.
So and at that time there was a flyer for a youth league starting that upcoming Saturday. So the next day, "Hey, can I do that?" And so at that point she was 10. So she started bowling in youth leagues, had a backup ball until about age 12, and then that's when she decided that she wanted to pursue it. And I said, the little bit that I knew about growing up bowling, and when I was in the Air Force, I bowled overseas and things like that. And I said, you got to change. You can't.
If you want to take it seriously, you're limited with a couple of different styles. So,
so I worked with her with a little bit of knowledge I had and got her to a certain point, and then we met Walt Alexander from Warner Robins, who was actually her first coach after me, and kind of got her to the next level, introduced us to the Georgia All-Stars, and kind of got the ball rolling, and we learned about Kegel through that, and that's how we ended up coming here.
So you essentially, because sometimes this can work good or bad depending on relationships with kids and parents, but you were her first essential coach.
Yes.
How'd that go, actually? I mean, were you okay to kind of let that go when you found some different levels of coaches that were available, or do you still kind of help her with certain things?
At the very beginning, I was definitely a little more guarded, but I understood quickly the game had changed dramatically from what I grew up with.
100%.
I was one of those people, you don't need any more than 1 or 2 balls. And then once I learned about how the patterns change and all the breakdown, all that goes into it, I was like, all right, I get it now. And then I knew
matching up's critical, having the right equipment, understanding the equipment.
Yeah, and then once we started coming down here to Kegel and getting coaching from Walt, I was like, now this is way beyond me. But I do have an eye for seeing these things, so as we come down here, and as Walt would give her lessons in the early going, I would actually be a good eye to actually watch what she's doing.
No doubt. That's our friend from purchasing that photobombs our show. It gets me occasionally too, ladies and gentlemen. But that is fantastic. I mean, let's also get into that. I mean, you bowled how long? I mean, you bowled your whole life for the most part.
Pretty much, yeah. I started when I was a kid, so hate to say it, but over 40 years now.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not as much as what I used to, because now I'm on the road about 30 weekends out of the year. If I'm not with her, my wife is with Emily, and so we're on the road a lot doing tournaments and things like that.
That's great
So,
parenting. Shout out to your wife as
Yeah.
well, and wish you could be here with us.
Yeah.
Let's talk about we'll start out with your daughter's aspirations. What do you think is on her, line of sight from a competitive bowling standpoint going into the future?
I know one of her first goals, and a little bit of a shout out, I guess, to the Tough Shots Tour, which is North Carolina, and the TSR Tours and 12 baggers. Those are some of the tournament series that we do a lot of in the North and South Carolina region.
Excellent.
She wants a banner. She's been to the semifinals, the championship match many times, and actually her youth open partner has actually knocked her out several times. So, and they're actually going to be roommates at Louisiana Tech, so it's a good thing.
No, absolutely.
But she wants a banner. That's the short-term goal. She still wants to get a banner at one of those tournaments. But a little bit longer term, she wants to, I'm sure, make the cut at junior gold. She came close last year, but didn't quite do it.
Tough tournament, tough field of players out there.
I'm sure Team Masters also this upcoming summer. This will be her last year for Team Masters. I'm sure that's a short-term goal to make the cut and get into step ladder format there. Looking a little bit longer term, contributing to a collegiate team at Louisiana Tech and helping Matt hopefully win a championship there is
Excellent.
Is definitely a goal. And then obviously academically, the reason she's going to school is to get her degree, and hopefully graduating with her bachelor's in something in the business realm. She's
Okay.
not 100% certain yet. And
Sure.
one of the real draws to Louisiana Tech is also they have a quarter system there. So she can actually graduate with her master's in right at about 4 years.
Interesting. I did not know that.
So getting her MBA, even if it takes her a little bit longer, like 4.5 years, to get her MBA and get a good jump on her actual career. If she wants to do
Great planning.
the PWBA tour,
Sure.
that's definitely a goal. So that's much longer term. But the reason she's going to school is obviously get that fallback plan for that education. So.
Do you and your wife, you think you fall in line with all those aspirations, or do you have, like, from a competitive bowling standpoint, could you, as proud parents, would you like to see her, make Team USA or win an Eagle or something like that? Are there any specific venues you'd love to be sitting front row on?
Obviously, all those we would love to sit on.
Okay.
But one of the things that we did as parents, and I have to definitely pat myself and my wife Alicia on the back, is we let her drive the bus. We
Excellent.
never said, pack your stuff, we're going to go practice. Emily has, after school, the bowling center and Stars and Strikes Coming has been really supportive of Emily.
Okay.
So I want to say thank you to them.
Absolutely.
And so my wife would pick her up from school and then take her, and then she would get her 2 hours of practice in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. She'd do her youth leagues on Saturdays when we're there, and then on Sundays she'd also go practice. We never once said, come on, we're going to practice. We left it to her to say, I want to go practice. So 4 days a week.
Sometimes the best way. That's good parenting.
And so it was her driving the bus. I said I didn't want to be one of those people that are making you go. I want you to demonstrate that you want to go and go do those things. So to your point, if that's Emily's goals to be on Team USA, which I'm sure it is, but she has to realize that she still has a couple levels to get, I think, to get there. I would love to be there for that. But you just got to take the little baby steps and make those,
Absolutely.
achieve those shorter term goals first.
You see a lot of parents, and kudos to you and your wife both. You see a lot of parents in multiple sports that, all across the globe, that unfortunately they pressure the kids a little bit too
Sure.
much maybe, and then all of a sudden they don't even like the sport that they
get
were
burned
in
out of
love
it.
with.
Yeah.
And I was on the other side of the coin. I was more on your daughter's side. My mom and dad were very supportive as well. And,
Nice.
they never really pushed me to go, do anything. I just did it all on my own, but they were there at every moment, every turning stone. Who, if you had to guess, do you think Emily's favorite bowler is?
Picking one is actually very
I
tough.
know, I figured that. See, Aaron and I talked about that. This is always
It's very
a tough
tough.
one I throw in there.
I'd like to give a little story, because one of the things about Emily is working here with Coach Randy has been, he's always compared her to like Diana, Verity, and Daria. So she has a thing on her mirror at home. She has like goals written on her mirror, and she has something, be Diveria. which is
cool.
a combination of those three names. So those are some of her favorites. Actually, Kelly Kulik is one of her favorites as well.
Another great pick.
My daughter, she had a school project for one of her entrepreneurship classes in high school this year, and she actually got the chance to interview Kelly in Myrtle Beach at a tournament I think it was this fall. So that was pretty neat.
Phenomenal athlete, great person as well.
On the men's side, she definitely, meeting Pete here is really kind of something special, meeting a legend like that. She's had several times meeting Norm Duke, so he's been really, actually I think Battle of the Beach a couple of weeks ago, or the Storm Youth Challenge, that's what it was. That was a couple months ago. He was really great and had a lot of nice things to say about Emily. So,
both two magnificent people. I've had the pleasure to spend time with. That was going to lead me into my last question. What do you think her experience was meeting Pete yesterday? I was down there and I kind of, I was going to go give him a hug, but he was inundated with a line of kids getting ready to take pictures, so I slid out the back. But you think that was pretty cool for her to, be able to, be in that same room again with somebody of that caliber and watch.
Absolutely. It's one of those things that makes coming to Kegel unique is just because you get to work with these great coaches, and primarily we worked with Randy, but what's neat about this is like that Randy saw her first video and did some analysis and said, okay, you need to work on basically coming around the ball a little bit better, getting out of it a little cleaner. And he said, go ask Pete how he does it. He's the best in the world at doing that. So we asked Pete, and he comes down and tells us a story about what his dad told him about how he comes out of the ball and what his thumb should be at in these positions. And you can't get that from just someplace else. And then while he watches Emily for a few minutes, 10, 15 minutes, and then he goes off, comes back, he sits down, and then Ruben's behind him. So you come to Weber or you come to Kegel, you get your coach input, then you get a little bit of like Ruben thrown in, and a little bit of Pete, and maybe before it's all over this week, we'll get a little dash of Dell in there like we had last year.
I think so. I mean, they've, on the outside looking in is, I mean, basically I live here as well, and but when I watch them down there, they seem like they're very approachable. Not only for the students, not just our coaches, but everybody you mentioned down there, whether it's Pete Weber, whether it's Donnie Jones, Norm Duke, Couch, I mean, all the great people that come down there.
It's one of the great things about bowling that we found out about getting into it. The pros are so easily approachable, especially at like a junior gold or some of these other tournaments. They'll come in and as sponsorships, and it's a genuine feeling like they're there for the kids and they want to be there to help grow things. And that's what I find pretty amazing about bowling is how approachable the pros are.
Not that I won't say that doesn't exist in other sports, but I think ours has the highest percentage of people that do that, that go out of their way to do that. Ben, it was an absolute pleasure, buddy. I hope you enjoy the next couple of days and you have a wonderful new year. That's a wrap for today, ladies and gentlemen. Keep those wrenches turning and have a wonderful day.